Picture this: you're standing at the edge of a vast, silent desert, the horizon stretching into emptiness, and you realize there's no roadmap, no guidebook, nothing to promise you safe passage. That moment of staring into the void, feeling a knot in your stomach, that's the absurd. It's not some abstract theory, it's your pulse quickening when you see that life offers no guarantees, no hidden meaning stamped on the sky. But here's the shock: that very emptiness can become the soil where your deepest joy grows, if you dare to turn the void into your playground. We tend to chase happiness like a fleeing breeze, forgetting that the world might never tailor itself to our dreams. Albert Camus, the French philosopher and novelist who stared unflinchingly at this void, didn't promise an easy answer. He insisted that embracing life's absurd heartbeat, its clash between our yearning for meaning and the universe's indifference, can unlock a fierce, unshakable delight. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to meet absurdity head-on, claim your freedom, and craft a life that pulses with purpose and joy, even when the cosmos remains silent. First, lean in and let the absurd land on your shoulders like a weight you can lift. Most of us flee from the idea that life is inherently meaningless. We slap on routines, chase promotions, or cling to stories that promise we're part of some cosmic design. Camus dared to say, "Stop pretending." Feel the tension between your craving for answers and the universe's flat no comment. That tension is not a destroyer, it's a forge. When you stop plastering over the cracks with distractions, you begin to see the raw materials of your own freedom. You're not pawns in a pre-written script, you're authors of each moment as it unfolds. Imagine Sisyphus, that ancient king condemned by the gods to roll a massive boulder up a hill, only to watch it tumble back down for all eternity. On the surface, it's torture incarnate, pointless, cruel, endless. But Camus flips the script. Picture Sisyphus smiling. As he hauls the rock, muscle burning, sweat dripping, he knows exactly what he's doing. There's no twist waiting at the top, no divine second act. His strength is in knowing the boulder is his own creation, his challenge to master. In that struggle, he ignites a spark of triumph every time he chooses to climb again. That moment of choice, of defiant lifting in the face of futility, is pure human victory. And you can tap into that same energy. Next time you face a task that feels monotonous or hopeless, a job you dread, a relationship in stalemate, picture yourself as Sisyphus. Feel the weight, taste the tension, and then, with every fiber of your being, decide to push anyway. That decision, over and over, is the water that quenches the desert of despair. Now, let this spark evolve into revolt. Not a pitched battle or grand uprising, but a personal rebellion that fuels your freedom. Once you gaze into the abyss and refuse to blink, you unlock a radical choice: you will live on your own terms. Camus called this revolt the heartbeat of passion. It's in the artist who paints because creation itself is a scream against the void. It's in the parent who holds a crying child at 3 a.m., knowing there's no manual but feeling love so fierce it defies exhaustion. When you revolt, you refuse to hand over your happiness to external guarantees. You claim it within, in the simple act of choosing to respond to each moment with presence, courage, and authenticity. Think of a street musician on a rainy evening, playing a battered violin. Passers-by hurry by, umbrellas blocking their faces. The world doesn't pause for her melody, yet she plays on, pouring every ounce of longing into each note. That's revolt in action, finding joy in the act of defiance itself. The moment she bows her head and draws her bow across the strings, she's saying, "I refuse to be silent, even though no one asked me to speak." And in that single gesture, she creates something that didn't exist before, a ripple of human connection that echoes far beyond the empty street. Make this your daily practice. When monotony seeps in, a to-do list demanding empty check marks, infuse it with the fire of revolt. Brew your morning coffee like it's the world's last cup. Write that report as if each sentence is a rebellion against a lifeless spreadsheet. Smile at a stranger, laugh when it feels ridiculous, dance in your kitchen even if you're alone. These small revolts knit moments of exhilaration into the fabric of the mundane, turning your life into a living protest against the absurd. By accepting the absurd, embracing the struggle like Sisyphus, and revolting with personal freedom, you begin to taste a happiness that springs from deep within. It's not some blinding sunbeam promised by destiny, it's the steady glow of your own courage lighting up the darkness. And once you've felt that glow, you'll never settle for shadows again. Now that you've tasted the defiant thrill of pushing your own boulder, you step into the sunlight of true freedom. By recognizing that the universe owes you nothing, you free yourself from its demands, and in that liberation, everything becomes possible. Imagine a bird released from a cage whose door was always unlocked. Suddenly, the sky isn't a threat, it's an invitation. That's what freedom feels like when you confront absurdity. Consider Mia, who spent 5 years crunching numbers in a cubicle she hated. One morning, she stood in front of her mirror and asked herself, "Why am I waiting for permission to live?" She handed in her resignation that afternoon and started teaching yoga on a beach in Bali. Was it reckless? Maybe. But the moment she chose herself over the safety net, she discovered an energy she never knew she had, a vibrant pulse that comes only when you stop asking what if and start saying why not. Freedom isn't a finish line, it's a horizon you chase every day by choosing your own path, however narrow or winding. With freedom as your compass, passion becomes your engine. Camus believed that to revolt is not enough, you must also love. Not love in the wide-eyed, waiting for fulfillment sense, but love as a fierce embrace of the present. Passion is the fire you spark when you lean into desire without guarantees. Think of Julian, a software engineer who moonlighted as a baker. Every night, after his code compiled, he kneaded dough in his tiny kitchen, savoring the transformation of flour and water into something warm and nourishing. His colleagues dubbed him the weekend baker, but for Julian, it was more than a hobby, it was proof that within the empty spaces of routine, you can create beauty and warmth. Passion makes your revolt palpable, it colors your freedom with fiery purpose. Then there's solidarity, an unexpected ally in absurdity. Facing the void alone can be terrifying, but joining hands with others gives you both shelter and strength. Camus wrote of the bonds forged in the plague, when citizens in an indifferent city chose compassion over isolation. Solidarity isn't just a lofty idea, it's the daily acts of empathy that shatter the walls of absurd loneliness. Picture a community garden in a neglected neighborhood, strangers drop by, plant seeds together, share stories, and realize that even among cracked concrete, life insists on blooming. Each shared seed, each shared cup of tea, is a statement, we refuse to starve on empty meaning. Real-world solidarity shines brightest when the stakes are highest. Remember the volunteers who rushed into flooded towns, strangers helping strangers haul sandbags and deliver bread. They didn't wait for orders from on high, they simply answered a human call. In those muddy streets, smiling through exhaustion, they turned absurd devastation into a festival of care. Their laughter amid the chaos echoed across the waters, a reminder that in the face of nothingness, our greatest weapon is one another. As freedom lights your path, passion fuels your stride, and solidarity builds your guardrail, you'll find that absurdity's shadows shrink. Each choice to live fully, each act of creation, each moment of shared humanity carves meaning into the blank slate of existence. And while the universe may remain indifferent, you become its most vibrant storyteller, crafting a narrative rich with purpose and joy, one defiant breath at a time. And so you've walked through the desert of absurdity, felt the weight of that silent horizon, and discovered that it's not a prison but a blank canvas. You learned first to face the absurd without flinching, to let it sharpen your awareness rather than dull your spirit. Then you met Sisyphus at the summit of his endless climb and stole his secret. The very act of pushing becomes triumph when you choose it for yourself. From there you ignited revolt, a personal rebellion that transforms routine into ritual, and you tasted freedom in every deliberate choice you make. You saw how passion pours color into the grays of existence, whether you're coding late at night or kneading dough at dawn. And finally, you found solidarity in shared struggle, where each act of kindness becomes a beacon dispelling meaninglessness. This journey isn't a path with a final destination, there is no signpost that reads happiness ahead. Instead, it's a series of moments you shape with intention, courage, and connection. Happiness in absurdity isn't a reward granted by fate, it's the artwork you create when you embrace the blankness, lift your boulder, raise your voice, follow your heart, and reach across the void to others. Each breath, each choice, each gesture of love and defiance is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your life. If you carry just one insight from Camus, let it be this: life may offer no meaning on a silver platter, but it hands you the freedom to make your own. And in that freedom, you find joy as enduring as the stars. If you found value in this exploration, subscribe now for more deep dives into the art of living fully in an indifferent universe.